Once upon a time, in a bustling town, there lived a respected school teacher named Mr. Robinson. He was admired for his wisdom and charm, and his students held him in high esteem. But, dear viewers, what dark secrets did this charming teacher hide? Stay tuned to uncover the shocking truth on Innocent Stories. Among them was an 18-year-old girl named Bianca, whose intelligence and beauty were renowned throughout the town. One day, Mr. Robinson confided in Bianca, telling her he was a single father of 2 children. He spoke of the challenges he faced raising them alone, painting a picture of a dedicated and caring man. Bianca felt deep sympathy for him, and their conversations grew more personal. Whenever his wife was away visiting relatives, Mr. Robinson would invite Bianca to his home under the pretense of needing assistance with his children. These visits became more frequent, and soon, a romantic relationship blossomed between them. Bianca believed she had found true love and was convinced that Mr. Robinson was unattached. But, hold on, Innocent Stories viewers. Was Bianca falling into a dangerous trap? Keep watching to find out. However, one of Bianca's close friends at school noticed the growing closeness between her and Mr. Robinson. Concerned, she approached Bianca and urged her to end the relationship, warning her of the potential consequences. Bianca dismissed her friend's concerns, insisting that Mr. Robinson was not married and that their love was genuine. Word of the relationship eventually reached Bianca's parents. They were furious. They scolded her, demanding that she stop seeing Mr. Robinson immediately. They reminded her that she was too young, that he was a much older man with children, and that she should be focusing on her education. But Bianca refused to listen. She insisted that she loved him, and he loved her too. Days passed, and Bianca's stubbornness only grew. She stopped attending school, ignoring her parents' warnings. She spent her days daydreaming about Mr. Robinson, believing that they were meant to be. Her parents watched in horror as their once dedicated daughter drifted further away from them. Finally, they had had enough. One evening, after another heated argument, Bianca's father pointed at the door and said, "If you refuse to listen, then leave this house. Go and stay with the man you have chosen over your family." Bianca's mother cried, but her father was firm. "She has made her decision. Let her go." Heartbroken but convinced she was doing the right thing, Bianca grabbed her bag and left the house. It was dark, and she had nowhere to go. She wandered the streets, cold and frightened. She thought of her friends, but she knew they would only tell her to go back home. With shaking hands, she dialed Mr. Robinson's number. "Hello," his deep voice answered. "Mr. Robinson, I have nowhere to go. My parents chased me out." There was silence on the other end, then he sighed. "Come to my house. I will take care of you." Bianca's heart swelled with relief. She hurried to his house, knocking on the door. When he opened it, she smiled weakly, expecting a warm embrace. But before she could step inside, a tall, elegant woman appeared behind him. "Who is this?" the woman asked, her sharp eyes scanning Bianca from head to toe. Bianca's stomach twisted. It was his wife. For a moment, Mr. Robinson looked lost, but then he chuckled smoothly and placed a hand on Bianca's shoulder. "Oh, honey, this is Bianca. I hired her as a nanny to help with the kids." Bianca's heart nearly stopped. A nanny? She wanted to scream, but she stayed silent, watching as his wife's eyes narrowed. "A nanny, Veronica," his wife folded her arms. "Why do we need a nanny? I never complained about handling the house chores." Mr. Robinson laughed and pulled her close. "I know, my love, you are amazing, but you work so hard, and I just wanted to ease your burden a little. You deserve a break." Veronica hesitated. She glanced at Bianca again, still suspicious. "But why didn't you tell me first?" Mr. Robinson cupped her face, his voice dripping with sweetness. "Because I wanted it to be a surprise, my love. You do so much for us. I just wanted to show you how much I appreciate you." Bianca stood there, frozen, as she watched the man she loved skillfully lie to his wife, convincing her with gentle touches and sweet words. It was then she realized just how smooth he was. He had done the same to her, made her believe things that weren't true. But instead of leaving, she swallowed her doubts. She had nowhere else to go. After a long pause, Veronica finally sighed. All right, but she will sleep in the guest room. Mr. Robinson grinned and kissed her forehead. Of course, my love. Veronica turned to Bianca. Come inside. Bianca nodded, stepping in, but her heart felt uneasy. She had one. She was now living under the same roof as the man she loved. The next morning, Bianca woke up in the guest room, her mind filled with confusion. The events of the previous night replayed in her head. Mr. Robinson had lied. He was married. He had a wife, a beautiful and elegant woman named Veronica. He had deceived her. As she stepped out of her room, she saw Mr. Robinson sitting at the dining table, sipping his coffee. His wife had already left for work, and the house was quiet. Bianca felt a burning anger rise in her chest. She stormed towards him, her eyes flashing with rage. Why did you lie to me? Mr. Robinson looked up at her, raising an eyebrow. What are you talking about, baby? He asked casually. Bianca's hands curled into fists. You told me you were single. You said you were raising your kids alone, but your wife is here, living in this house. Mr. Robinson sighed dramatically and leaned back in his chair. Bianca, calm down. I didn't lie to you. I just didn't tell you everything. That's the same thing as lying. Bianca snapped. Mr. Robinson chuckled and stood up, walking towards her. He placed his hands on her shoulders, his voice smooth and calm. Listen to me, baby. You are special to me. My wife and I, we are already over. We just live in the same house for now, but in a few months, I will divorce her. Bianca frowned, her anger still burning. Why haven't you divorced her already? Mr. Robinson sighed again, shaking his head. Because of my kids, Bianca. I didn't want to hurt them. But believe me, I don't love her anymore. She's old, boring, and not classy like you. She doesn't take care of herself like you do. She's not as hot as you. Bianca, he cupped her face, his eyes full of false sorrow. I love you. You are the one I want. Bianca's heart pounded. His words were exactly what she wanted to hear, but deep down, doubt still lingered. You promise, she whispered. Mr. Robinson smiled. I swear. Just give me a little time. Soon, I'll be all yours. Bianca bit her lip, looking into his eyes. He seemed so sincere, so sure of himself. Slowly, she nodded. Okay. I trust you. Mr. Robinson grinned and pulled her into his arms. That's my girl. A month passed, and Bianca began to notice changes in her body. She felt nauseous in the mornings, her appetite had increased, and she was feeling unusually tired. Deep down, she suspected what was happening, but it wasn't until she took a pregnancy test that reality hit her. She was pregnant. Excitement and fear rushed through her as she clutched the test in her hand. She didn't know how to feel, but one thing was clear, this child would tie her to Mr. Robinson forever. That evening, when his wife Veronica had gone out, Bianca rushed to Mr. Robinson, her heart pounding. She found him sitting in the living room, casually scrolling through his phone. Baby, I have something to tell you, she said, her voice trembling with excitement. Mr. Robinson looked up at her with a smile on his face. What is it, my love? Bianca took a deep breath, then blurted out, I'm pregnant. For a moment, Mr. Robinson stared at her as if he hadn't heard her correctly. Then, suddenly, his face lit up. Are you serious? He asked. Bianca nodded, smiling. Yes, I'm sure. Mr. Robinson laughed and pulled her into his arms, holding her tight. This is the best news ever. I'm going to be a father again. Bianca felt a rush of relief. She had been afraid he wouldn't want the baby, but now she knew he was happy. Then her smile faded, and she pulled back. But there's something we need to talk about, she said, crossing her arms. Mr. Robinson raised an eyebrow. What is it, baby? Bianca's voice hardened. I can't have my first child in this old house with your old cargo wife walking around like she owns the place. You need to get rid of her. Mr. Robinson sighed. Bianca, I told you to be patient. I have my plans. Bianca folded her arms. I don't want patience. I want action. You said you don't love her. You said you would leave her. Now I'm carrying your child, and I need a clean, quiet, less crowded environment to raise my baby. If you really love me, you will do something now. Mr. Robinson looked at her, then smiled slightly. Trust me, baby. I have everything under control. Just give me a little time. Bianca narrowed her eyes. You better not be lying to me again. Mr. Robinson kissed her forehead. I would never lie to you. You and our baby are my priority now. Bianca smiled, satisfied. She believed him. She had one. Soon, Veronica would be out, and she would take her rightful place as the woman of the house. A week later, Veronica had no idea that her husband was planning to throw her out of her own home. She went about her day as usual, completely unaware of the storm that was coming. One afternoon, she decided to visit her close friend Janet. They sat in Janet's living room, sipping tea and catching up on life. After a while, Janet leaned closer and lowered her voice. Veronica, do you not have eyes? She asked. Veronica frowned. What do you mean? Janet scoffed. I saw Bianca the other day, and I think she is pregnant. Veronica's heart skipped a beat. Pregnant, she echoed, her hands tightening around her cup. Janet nodded, her eyes sharp. Yes, and if you ask me, I think you need to start asking some questions. Your husband has been acting strange lately, hasn't he? Veronica suddenly felt dizzy. She thought about all the times Bianca had been around the house, how Mr. Robinson insisted on hiring a nanny without telling her, how he had defended Bianca staying with them. Could it be? Are you saying, Veronica started, but Janet interrupted her. I'm saying you need to open your eyes. Something is not right. That girl is carrying a baby, and I strongly suspect it's your husband's child. Veronica's fingers trembled. She stood up immediately, her breathing heavy. I have to go, she muttered. Janet watched her with pity. Be careful, Veronica. If what I'm suspecting is true, you are in danger. But Veronica wasn't listening anymore. She grabbed her bag and rushed out of Janet's house, her heart pounding in her chest. As she drove home, her mind raced with questions. Was Janet right? Was Bianca carrying Mr. Robinson's child? Had she been a fool all this time? That evening, when Mr. Robinson arrived home, he was in a good mood. Bianca was pregnant, and soon he would have the family he always wanted. He removed his shoes at the door and stepped into the living room, expecting to see Veronica in the kitchen as usual. But instead, she was standing in the middle of the room, arms folded, eyes burning with anger. We need to talk, she said firmly. Mr. Robinson sighed, already irritated. What is it now, Veronica? I just got home. Veronica's chest rose and fell as she tried to control her emotions. I've been watching. I've been observing, her voice was sharp, and I have one question for you. Mr. Robinson frowned. What nonsense are you talking about? Veronica took a deep breath and said the words that had been eating at her. Is Bianca pregnant? For a moment, there was silence. Then, instead of denying it or even looking ashamed, Mr. Robinson let out a short laugh. Yes, she's pregnant for me. And so what? Veronica's body stiffened. It was true. Her worst fear was true. So what? She repeated, her voice shaking. You brought that girl into my home. You lied to me. You told me she was a nanny, but all along, you were sleeping with her. Mr. Robinson scoffed and leaned against the chair. And what if I was? What can you do about it? His voice was full of arrogance. Tears burned in Veronica's eyes, but she refused to cry. You betrayed me, Robinson. After everything we've been through, you made a fool of me. Robinson clicked his tongue. Betrayed you? You're just angry because the truth is finally out. And since we are being honest, let me tell you one more thing. He straightened and looked her directly in the eye. You couldn't give me children, Veronica. You failed me as a wife. Veronica gasped. What did you just say? Robinson stepped closer, his face cold. The 2 kids we are raising, they are not biologically mine. We adopted them. But now, Bianca is giving me what you couldn't, my own blood. Veronica's hands trembled with rage. You are wicked, Robinson. You are heartless. Those children love you. They call you their father. That's their business. Robinson waved her off. I'm done pretending. Bianca is young, beautiful, and classy. She's not like you. She makes me feel alive again, and whether you like it or not, I will marry her. Veronica felt her knees weaken, but she refused to let him see her break. Her lips curled in disgust. You are a pathetic excuse for a man. A shameless, disgusting old fool, she spat. Robinson smiled. Insult me all you want. It won't change anything. Bianca is carrying my child, and you are no longer needed in this house. Veronica stared at him, breathing heavily. Then she took a deep breath and straightened her shoulders. You know what, Robinson? You can have Bianca. You can have your baby. But you will no longer have me. Robinson narrowed his eyes. What do you mean? Veronica took off her wedding ring and threw it at him. I want a divorce. Her voice was cold, steady. I am leaving you. For the first time, Robinson looked shocked. He had expected her to cry, to beg, to fight for their marriage, but instead, she was walking away. She turned around and marched upstairs. She grabbed her suitcase and started packing her clothes. Enough was enough. She refused to stay with a man who had no respect for her. Mr. Robinson stood at the doorway, watching her. You're being dramatic, Veronica. She let out a bitter laugh. Dramatic? You betrayed me, you insulted me, and now you're throwing me away like trash, and you think I'm being dramatic? She zipped up her suitcase and grabbed it. I deserve better. With that, she walked past him, out of the bedroom, down the stairs, and straight out the front door. Robinson smiled as he watched her leave. Tertiary. Good riddance, he muttered. Now I can finally be with Bianca in peace. 2 days later, Bianca sat on the couch, rubbing her small baby bump. The excitement of being pregnant had started to fade, and reality was setting in. She had dropped out of school, left her parents' house, and now she was living with Mr. Robinson. But something didn't feel right. She looked at him as he sat across from her, scrolling through his phone. Baby, she said softly. Mr. Robinson glanced up. Yes, my love? Bianca hesitated for a moment, then took a deep breath. I want to go back to school. Mr. Robinson's smile instantly disappeared. He placed his phone down and frowned. Go back to school? Why? Bianca shifted uncomfortably. Because I don't want to just stay at home doing nothing. I want to finish my education. Mr. Robinson leaned forward. Bianca, you are carrying my child. You should focus on being a full-time housewife now. Bianca's heart sank. But no, he cut her off. Look, I'm not complaining. I provide everything you need. Do you lack anything? Bianca stayed silent. Mr. Robinson sighed and continued. I have money, Bianca. Aside from being a teacher, I have businesses. You don't need school. I can take care of you and our baby. Just relax and enjoy life. Bianca felt her stomach twist. She had thought he would support her decision, but instead, he was shutting her down completely. But I don't want to just sit at home doing nothing, she tried again. I want to be more than just your wife. Mr. Robinson chuckled and stood up. That's nonsense, Bianca. You're already lucky to have me. Stop worrying about school and focus on our future together. Bianca bit her lip, holding back the frustration building inside her. She had always imagined finishing school, getting a good job, and being independent, but now it felt like she had trapped herself in a life she wasn't ready for. She forced a smile and nodded. Okay. 2 weeks passed, and everything seemed normal in Mr. Robinson's world. He had Bianca all to himself, she was carrying his child, and Veronica was out of the picture. Or so he thought. That afternoon, as he was preparing to leave for work, his phone rang. It was an unfamiliar number. He hesitated, then answered. "Hello," he said. "Mr. Robinson," a deep voice came through the phone. "Yes, who is this?" "I'm your wife's lawyer. She has filed for divorce, and I have the papers here. You will need to review and sign them soon." Mr. Robinson felt his blood pressure rise instantly. "Divorce," he repeated, as if the word was foreign to him. "Yes, sir. And I must inform you, according to the agreement, you will be required to hand over your house to Mrs. Veronica Robinson, since you both have children together, and she will have custody." Mr. Robinson almost dropped his phone. His heart pounded in his chest. "What nonsense are you talking about?" he barked. "That is my house. I built that house with my sweat. She has no right to take it from me." The lawyer remained calm. "Sir, you and your wife lived in that house together as a family. The law protects her and the children. You will also be required to provide financial support for the kids until they turn 18. Mr. Robinson's head spun. He gritted his teeth. "Never. That's the only house I have. She cannot take everything I worked for and just leave." Then he let out a short, bitter laugh. "I thought she was joking when she said she would divorce me. I thought she was just angry and trying to scare me. I never knew she would actually go through with it." The lawyer sighed. "Sir, I understand your frustration, but you need to be prepared. If you refuse to sign, this could get very messy in court, and you might lose even more than just the house." Mr. Robinson was shaking with anger. "I will not let her take what belongs to me," he muttered under his breath. "Over my dead body." The lawyer spoke again. "Sir, I suggest you get your own lawyer as soon as possible. We will be sending the documents to you shortly. Good day." The call ended, leaving Mr. Robinson boiling with rage. He threw his phone onto the couch and ran his hands through his hair. "This woman thinks she can play smart with me. She will regret this." Just then, Bianca walked into the living room. "What's wrong, baby?" she asked. Mr. Robinson clenched his fists. "That old cargo is trying to take my house from me." Bianca gasped. "What? But where will we live?" "Exactly." Robinson snapped. "I will not let her win. She thinks she can ruin my life? Never. I will fight her with everything I have." Bianca nodded, folding her arms. "She's just jealous because I'm the one having your baby now." Mr. Robinson exhaled sharply. "I need to think. I will not let her take what belongs to me. She wants war, she will get it." But deep inside, a cold fear settled in his stomach. If Veronica won this case, he would lose everything. Meanwhile, Veronica sat in Janet's living room, sipping her tea with a look of relief on her face. She leaned back against the couch and let out a deep sigh. "Janet, I can't wait to finally be free," she said. "That man is so stupid. I can't believe I wasted all these years with him." Janet smiled. "At least you're getting out now. Some women stay trapped forever." Veronica scoffed. "The funniest part is, I never even noticed anything between him and that small, wayward, mannerless girl, Bianca. I mean, her parents failed her woefully." Janet nodded in agreement. "A girl with proper home training would never do what she did. She threw away her future for a useless man." Veronica laughed bitterly. "Let them enjoy their mess. I just want to finalize this divorce and move on with my life." She felt lighter than she had in years. For the first time in a long time, she wasn't stressed about her husband's lies, his arrogance, or his manipulations. Soon, she would be completely done with him. 2 days later, Mr. Robinson sat in his car, deep in thought. He had barely slept since his lawyer called. The reality of losing his house, his money, and even his reputation was beginning to sink in. He had underestimated Veronica. He had thought she would crawl back to him, beg for forgiveness, but instead, she had hit him where it hurt the most. Now he had no choice. If he wanted to win, he had to play smart. He took a deep breath, got out of the car, and walked up to the house where Veronica was staying. He knocked on the door, and when she opened it, she was shocked to see him standing there. "What do you want, Robinson?" she asked coldly, folding her arms. Mr. Robinson let out a deep sigh and suddenly fell to his knees. Tears filled his eyes as he held his hands together, looking up at her like a broken man. "Veronica, please, I made a terrible mistake. I don't know what came over me. I miss you. I miss our family. I don't want this divorce. Please forgive me." Veronica frowned. "Robinson, stand up. What nonsense is this?" But he didn't move. Instead, he started crying. "I was a fool, Veronica. I was blind. Bianca meant nothing to me. It was just a stupid mistake. Please don't leave me. I can't live without you." Veronica stared at him, completely shocked. She had never seen this man cry before, never. She stepped back, suddenly feeling unsure. "So you're saying it's over between you and Bianca?" Mr. Robinson quickly nodded. "Yes, I swear. I will chase her away. Just give me one more chance, please. I love you, Veronica. I can't lose you." Veronica looked into his eyes, and for the first time in weeks, she saw the man she once loved, the man who had been her husband, her partner, the father of their children. Maybe, just maybe, he had truly learned his lesson. She took a deep breath. "Fine, but if I come back, you must chase Bianca away. I don't want to see her anywhere near our home." Mr. Robinson wiped his fake tears and nodded eagerly. "Consider it done. She means nothing to me. I just want my wife back." Veronica sighed, still unsure, but deep down, she wanted to believe him. What she didn't know was that she was falling right into his trap. A day later, Mr. Robinson went to Veronica's house and told her he was taking her out to celebrate. He said Bianca was already on her way to her parents' house and that he had also found out he wasn't responsible for her pregnancy. Veronica was overjoyed. Her husband was finally hers again. She told him she would call her lawyer the next day to cancel the divorce since everything was back to normal. Nobody knew about their outing. Mr. Robinson took the car keys and told her he had the perfect place for them to go. Veronica, still excited, didn't suspect anything. She got into the car, chatting away about how relieved she was that Bianca was gone. Robinson nodded, pretending to listen, but his mind was already set on what he was about to do. He drove for a long time, taking a route Veronica didn't recognize. The roads became narrow, surrounded by thick trees. The place was completely hidden, far from any houses or people. "Robinson, where exactly are we going?" she asked, looking around. "It's a surprise. Just relax," he said. "This place is too hidden. I don't like this. Turn around and take me home. We're almost there." "Stop worrying," he said, gripping the steering wheel tighter. Veronica's stomach twisted. Something felt wrong. She reached for her phone, but before she could dial a number, Robinson slammed the brakes. The sudden stop jerked her forward. "What's wrong with you?" she snapped. Robinson didn't answer. Instead, he reached into his jacket and pulled out a gun. Veronica's eyes widened. "Robinson, what are you doing?" He cocked the gun and pointed it at her. "I'm sorry, Veronica, but you should have never left me." Tears filled her eyes. "Please, we can fix this. We can go home, pretend none of this happened. You think I'll let you take my house, my money? You think you can just walk away and leave me with nothing? You lied. Bianca never left, did she?" Robinson smirked. You were always smart, Veronica, but not smart enough. Bang! The gunshot echoed in the empty night. Veronica's body slumped in the seat. She didn't even get the chance to scream. Robinson wasted no time. He got out of the car, dragged her body out, and started digging. The area was so hidden, no one would ever find her. After an hour, he covered the grave with dirt, wiped his hands, and stared at the spot one last time. Goodbye, Veronica. You should have never challenged me. He got back in the car and drove home as if nothing had happened. When he entered the house, Bianca was sitting on the couch, eating. She looked up and smiled, completely unaware of what had just happened. She didn't ask any questions. He didn't mention anything about his outing with Veronica. He acted normal, as if nothing had happened. He took off his jacket, sat down, and picked up his phone like any other evening. Bianca continued eating, not suspecting a thing. The house was quiet. No one knew what had taken place that night. Veronica was gone, and life moved on as if she had never existed. A week later, Bianca woke up with sharp pains in her stomach. She clutched her belly, feeling something was wrong. Sweat dripped down her forehead as she tried to sit up, but the pain was unbearable. She called out for Mr. Robinson, but he had already left for work. By afternoon, she started bleeding heavily. Panic set in as she realized what was happening. She tried to remain calm, but the pain intensified. By the time Mr. Robinson got home that evening, Bianca was curled up in bed, weak and pale. I lost the baby, she whispered, her voice barely audible. Mr. Robinson stood by the door, his face unreadable. It's okay, he said, placing a hand on her shoulder. Everything happens for a reason. Bianca expected him to show more emotion, but he simply walked into the bathroom, washed his hands, and changed his clothes, as if nothing major had happened. She stared at him, feeling something cold settle in her chest. Something about him felt off. Days passed, and Bianca started feeling uneasy in the house. It started small, shadows moving in the corner of her eye, a faint whisper when she was alone, the feeling of someone watching her. At first, she brushed it off, thinking it was just her mind playing tricks on her. But soon, it became worse. One night, while Mr. Robinson was out, Bianca was in the kitchen when she heard footsteps behind her. She turned quickly, but no one was there. The hairs on her arms stood up. She grabbed a glass of water, trying to calm herself, but as she turned to leave, she saw something that made her drop the glass. A woman stood at the end of the hallway, her eyes dark and hollow, her dress stained with red. Bianca gasped, her breath caught in her throat. She blinked, and just like that, the woman was gone. Her hands shook as she grabbed her phone and called Mr. Robinson. I keep seeing something in this house, she said, her voice trembling. There's someone here. Mr. Robinson sighed on the other end. Bianca, it's nothing. Your mind is playing tricks on you. I know what I saw, she insisted. Maybe it's just stress from losing the baby. Just relax, get some rest. Bianca wanted to argue, but she could tell he wasn't taking her seriously. She hung up and hugged herself, feeling colder than she ever had before. She knew what she saw, and deep down, she had a terrible feeling that this was just the beginning. Janet had been worried for months. Veronica's sudden disappearance didn't sit right with her. She had known Veronica for years, and there was no way she would just vanish without a trace. She had tried calling her, visiting her house, and even asking around, but there was no sign of her. Deep inside, Janet suspected Mr. Robinson. She had never liked him from the moment Veronica married him. She had felt something was off about him, he was too smooth, too controlling, too full of himself. Now, with Veronica missing, her instincts told her he had something to do with it. She went to the police and reported her concerns, but there was a problem. The officer in charge was an old friend of Mr. Robinson. There's no evidence that anything happened, the officer said, leaning back in his chair. For all we know, she left on her own. Janet clenched her fists. Veronica would never leave without telling anyone. Something is wrong. The officer sighed. Look, I know Robinson personally. He's a good man. You can't just throw around accusations without proof. If she doesn't turn up in a few weeks, then maybe we'll look into it. But for now, there's nothing we can do." Janet left the station, furious. She knew something wasn't right, but there was nothing she could do. Mr. Robinson was a free man. 4 months passed. Bianca got pregnant again. This time, she was careful. She followed every instruction from the doctor, ate well, and rested. She was determined to have this baby. Then, one evening, the same sharp pains returned. By morning, she had lost the baby. She sat on the edge of the bed, staring at nothing. It had happened again. Another loss. Another dream shattered. Mr. Robinson walked into the room, arms crossed. "I think your parents are responsible for this," he said. Bianca blinked. "What?" "They never supported our relationship. I wouldn't be surprised if they cursed you. They don't want you to have my child." Bianca felt something snap inside her. She stood up, eyes blazing. "You are a senseless, old, useless man." Mr. Robinson's face darkened. "Bianca, don't push me. I regret ever knowing you." "I regret everything," she screamed. "You ruined my life. What have I gained from being with you?" "Nothing." Mr. Robinson grabbed his keys and stormed out of the house. The door slammed behind him, and silence filled the room. Bianca sat down, hugging herself. The air felt cold, like something unseen was watching her. She tried to shake off the feeling, but deep inside, she knew something wasn't right. That night, she woke up suddenly. The room was quiet, but something felt wrong. She looked around, heart pounding. Then she saw it. A dark figure stood in the corner, watching her, the same ghostly woman she had seen before. Her breath caught in her throat. Her whole body went numb with fear. She grabbed her phone and quickly called her old friend. The moment the call connected, she burst into tears. "Please help me," she cried. "I keep seeing something in this house. There's something here." Her friend's voice was cold. "Bianca, I don't know why you're calling me. You caused all of this yourself. Please, just listen." Bianca sobbed. "I warned you, Bianca. Your parents warned you too, but you thought you were smarter than everyone. Now look at your life. A small girl like you, throwing your future away for an old man. Please, don't hang up. I don't know what to do." Her friend sighed. "Carry your problem to your sugar daddy and leave me alone. I don't have time for your nonsense." The call ended. Bianca stared at her phone, shaking. The room felt colder. Slowly, she turned her head back to the corner. The ghost was still there, and this time, it was moving toward her. Bianca's entire body froze as she watched the dark figure move closer. She wanted to scream, but her throat felt tight. The air in the room turned ice cold, and she could hear her own heartbeat pounding in her ears. The figure had no clear face, just a dark, shifting shadow, taller than any human. Bianca could feel its presence watching her, even though she couldn't see its eyes. She tried to move, but her body wouldn't obey. The figure stepped forward, and the moment it did, the lights flickered. A chilling whisper filled the air, a sound so low and distant that she couldn't understand the words. Bianca's breath hitched. "Please, please, what do you want?" she whispered, her voice shaking. The whispering stopped. A cold gust of wind rushed through the room, and the figure disappeared. The silence that followed was worse. Bianca felt the weight of something pressing down on her chest. She gasped for air and stumbled out of bed, grabbing her phone. Her hands trembled as she tried to call Mr. Robinson. No answer. She called again. Nothing. Tears ran down her face as she ran to the light switch, turning on every light in the house. She needed to leave. She grabbed her purse and rushed to the front door, her fingers fumbling with the lock. The door wouldn't open. She yanked at the handle, stuck. The windows slammed shut one after another. The television turned on by itself, static filling the screen. Then, a whisper, closer this time. "You shouldn't be here." Bianca's body went cold. Her breath came in short gasps. She turned her head slowly toward the hallway. The shadow stood there again. Bianca let out a terrified scream and collapsed to the floor. Hours later, Mr. Robinson arrived home late at night. He was in a good mood, having spent hours drinking and playing cards. He stepped inside and frowned. The house was too quiet. "Bianca," he called. No answer. He walked toward the bedroom, but something made him stop. The front door was wide open. A strange chill ran down his spine. Bianca never left the door open. Stepping inside the living room, his heart nearly stopped. Bianca was lying on the floor, unconscious. He rushed to her, shaking her. "Bianca! Bianca, wake up!" She gasped weakly, her eyes fluttering open. When she saw him, she clutched his shirt, her hands freezing cold. "There's something here," she whispered. "What are you talking about?" he asked, his face twisting in confusion. She swallowed hard, her lips trembling. "A shadow. A dark figure. I keep seeing it when you're not around. It locked me inside the house. It spoke to me." Mr. Robinson pulled away from her grip. "You're just imagining things." Bianca shook her head, fresh tears spilling down her face. "I know what I saw. I'm not crazy." He stood up, rubbing his temples. "You need rest. You're stressed. There are no ghosts, Bianca. It's all in your head." Bianca sat up, her body still shaking. "Then why does it keep coming back whenever you're gone?" Mr. Robinson said nothing. His jaw tightened as he turned away. Bianca knew one thing: she wasn't safe in this house. And deep down, Mr. Robinson knew it too. Bianca couldn't take it anymore. She felt trapped in that house, haunted by something she couldn't explain. She needed help, and there was only one place she could think of: her mother's shop. She rushed there, her heart pounding. The moment she stepped inside, her mother turned and froze. "Bianca!" Her mother's eyes widened in shock. Bianca fell to her knees, tears streaming down her face. "Mama, please help me," she begged. Her mother folded her arms. "So now you know where to find me after everything you did? Mama, please. I know I messed up. I know I should have listened, but I need your help. I think Mr. Robinson is responsible for his wife's disappearance, and I've been seeing something in that house." "A ghost, Mama? It's not normal." Her mother scoffed. "Oh, now you can think? Now you have sense? But when we warned you, you insulted us. You disgraced us. You chose that foolish old man over your own family. See where your stubbornness has landed you." Bianca sobbed, clutching her mother's dress. "Mama, please. I have nowhere else to go. I regret everything." Her mother sighed, looking at her closely. For the first time in months, Bianca looked terrible, thin, weak, with dark circles under her eyes. She didn't look like the confident, happy girl she once was. Something had broken her. Out of a mother's love, she pulled Bianca up and hugged her tightly. "You have suffered enough," she whispered. "But this matter is not only in my hands. Your father was so angry when you left school and followed that man. I will have to talk to him first." Bianca nodded, still crying. That night, her mother went home and sat with her husband. She told him everything: how Bianca was suffering, how she regretted everything, how she was begging to come back home. But her father was still angry. "So now she knows the meaning of pain," he said, shaking his head. "Didn't we warn her? Didn't we tell her this would happen?" His wife pleaded with him. "She has learned her lesson. Look at what she has become. She is our daughter, and she needs us." He sighed heavily and finally said, "Fine. She can come back, but on one condition. She must go back to school and cut all ties with that foolish man." The next morning, Bianca's mother called her. Your father has agreed, but you must return to school and never speak to Robinson again. Bianca didn't even hesitate. Yes, Mama. I will do anything. I just want to leave that house. Bianca took a deep breath as she packed the last of her clothes into her bag. Her hands trembled slightly, but she pushed away the fear. She had made up her mind. She was leaving this house today. She stepped out of the bedroom and found Mr. Robinson sitting in the living room, scrolling through his phone like nothing was wrong. I need to talk to you, she said, her voice firm. He looked up at her with a smile. What is it, my love? I'm leaving, Bianca said, standing tall. I want to focus on my life and go back to school. Mr. Robinson's smile disappeared. His eyes darkened. You're joking, right? No, I'm serious. I'm done. I've realized my mistake. You brainwashed me. You manipulated me. You're my father's age. I regret ever knowing you. Mr. Robinson stood up slowly, his hands clenched into fists. Bianca, do not say things you don't mean. I mean every word, she shouted. I must leave this house, and I know the truth, Robinson. I know you're responsible for your wife's disappearance. His expression turned deadly. Watch your mouth, Bianca. You will be exposed. She continued, her voice shaking but strong. I will tell the world what you did. You unalived your wife. You're a foolish, disgusting man. Mr. Robinson's face twisted with pure rage. His chest rose and fell heavily as he stared at her with burning hatred. Then, in a low, menacing voice, he said, Yes, I did it. I unalived Veronica. And so what? Bianca took a step back, fear creeping into her bones. Mr. Robinson let out a wicked laugh. What can you do about it, you little spoiled child of a nobody? You will vanish the same way stupid Veronica did. Bianca's blood ran cold. You're a monster, she whispered. He slammed his fist on the table, making her flinch. Oh, women! You all are so foolish, especially you small girls of nowadays. You think the world revolves around you. You think you can just walk in and out of my life as you please? Let me tell you something, Bianca. You belong to me. Bianca's heart pounded as she turned to run, but he was faster. He grabbed her by the arm and dragged her toward the bedroom. She kicked and screamed, trying to break free. Let me go. You can't do this. But Mr. Robinson was too strong. He shoved her into the room and slammed the door shut. Before she could reach for it, she heard the click of the lock. He had locked her in. She banged on the door. Let me out. Mr. Robinson stood outside, chuckling. You're mine, Bianca. You will stay in this house until I decide what to do with you. She heard footsteps moving away, then, after a few seconds, she heard another sound, her phone ringing. Her eyes widened. Her phone! She searched around the room but then realized he had taken it. Tears filled her eyes as she sank to the floor. She was trapped. The next day, Bianca's parents had been trying to call her, but her phone wasn't going through. Her mother dialed her number again and again, pacing back and forth in the living room. I don't like this, she muttered, gripping her phone tightly. Something is wrong. Her husband, sitting on the couch with his arms crossed, scoffed. You see what I told you? This girl can never change. I think she's gone back to that foolish man. She's not coming home. His wife turned to him, eyes filled with worry. No, I don't believe that. She was ready to leave him. She packed her bags. She was supposed to come home today. Her husband shook his head, clearly fed up. Woman, you and that your daughter will not kill me. That girl is useless. She doesn't like school, she doesn't have sense, and she doesn't listen. I don't even think I'm the father of that foolish daughter of yours. His wife gasped. Don't you ever say that again. Then stop disturbing me with her name, he barked. She made her choice. She can rot with that stupid man for all I care. But Bianca's mother refused to accept that. Deep inside, she felt something was wrong. Bianca had sounded desperate on the phone the night before. She wanted to come home. So why would she suddenly disappear? She clenched her fists. I'm not going to sit here and do nothing. Her husband waved her off. Do whatever you like, but don't call that girl's name in this house again. Meanwhile, inside the locked room, Bianca sat on the cold floor, her body shaking with fear. She had never prayed so hard in her life. She went on her knees, tears rolling down her face. Father Lord, please, I know I've been stubborn. I disobeyed my parents. I made the worst mistake of my life. But please, don't let me die here. Give me one last chance. I promise I will never disobey my parents again. I will change. Please, Lord, I don't want to end up like Robinson's wife. She cried, clapping her hands, begging with everything inside her. God, you're the only one who can save me now. Please, if you help me escape, I will never go back to my foolish ways. Just give me one chance. As she continued praying, suddenly, she heard a creaking sound. She stopped, holding her breath. The door unlocked on its own. Bianca's heart nearly stopped. She stared at it in disbelief, her mind racing. Was it the wind? Did Robinson forget to lock it properly? Or did God really hear her prayers? She had no time to think. She jumped to her feet and ran. She pushed the door open and bolted down the hallway, her heart pounding in her chest. She expected to hear Robinson's voice yelling behind her, but the house was silent. She ran to the front door, pulled it open, and sprinted outside. She didn't stop. She didn't look back. She ran to the main road and waved down a taxi with all her strength. The driver, seeing the panic on her face, stopped immediately. He didn't ask questions. He saw the desperation in her eyes and sped off. When the taxi stopped in front of her mother's shop, Bianca burst out of the car and ran inside. Her mother, who was already drowning in worry, turned around and gasped. Bianca! Bianca threw herself into her mother's arms, sobbing uncontrollably. Mama, he locked me up. I saw things. I prayed, and somehow the door opened. Mama, Mr. Robinson is a monster. Her mother held her tightly, her heart breaking at the sight of her daughter. My child, what happened? Bianca wiped her tears and told her everything, how Robinson refused to let her go, how he admitted to unaliving his wife, how he locked her up and told her she would vanish the same way Veronica did. Her mother's body stiffened with rage. She grabbed Bianca's hand. We're going to the police. This evil man must not go free. They stormed into the police station, and Bianca's mother went straight to the officer in charge. My daughter was kidnapped and locked up by that wicked man, Robinson, she shouted. You must arrest him immediately. The officers turned to Bianca, who was still shaking from fear. One of them gently asked, Is this true? Bianca nodded quickly. Yes. He locked me in his house. He said I was his and that I would never leave. The officers exchanged glances. Even though Robinson had connections, this was serious. Locking up a young girl against her will was a crime. Immediately, they sent officers to arrest Mr. Robinson. When they arrived at his house, he was sitting on the couch, drinking coffee, as if nothing had happened. The moment he saw the officers, his face changed. What is the meaning of this? He asked, standing up. You're under arrest for kidnapping and illegally detaining Miss Bianca, one of the officers said. Robinson laughed. Kidnapping? That foolish girl is my woman. She belongs to me. The officers didn't argue. They grabbed him and placed him in handcuffs. Do you know who I am? He shouted. I have friends in high places. You'll all lose your jobs. But the officers didn't care. They dragged him out of the house and took him straight to the station. At the station, Robinson sat on the bench, his hands still in cuffs. He looked calm, as if he still believed he would walk free. Then, suddenly, something hit him on the head. The officers turned, confused. Nothing was there. Robinson's eyes widened in shock, and he grabbed his head, shaking violently. "Who's here?" he shouted. "What do you want from me?" Bianca and her mother watched in fear as he started talking to himself. "I didn't mean to do it. It was an accident. She was threatening me. I had no choice." The officers leaned forward. "What are you talking about?" Robinson's hands trembled. "Veronica. I unalived her. I buried her in a hidden place." There was complete silence in the station. One of the officers grabbed his collar. "Where? Tell us where." Robinson's mouth opened, but no words came out. It was as if something was choking him. He gasped for air, his eyes rolling back. "She won't leave me alone. She's here. She's in this room." Bianca screamed as the lights in the station flickered. The officers jumped back as Robinson fell to his knees, crying like a baby. One officer quickly grabbed his phone and called for a forensic team to search the area Robinson described. Hours later, the truth was confirmed. Veronica's body was found buried in a shallow grave. Mr. Robinson was taken to court immediately. The judge looked disgusted as the evidence was presented. Bianca testified. The officers testified. Even Robinson's own confession was played for the court. He tried to beg, claiming it was an accident, but nobody believed him. "You are a cold-hearted man who took the life of your wife and held an innocent girl captive," the judge said. "You showed no remorse. You threatened to take another life. This court finds you guilty." The sentence was announced, life imprisonment. As Robinson was dragged away, he turned to Bianca, his face filled with hatred. "You ruined me," he shouted. "You destroyed my life." Bianca held her mother's hand tightly and whispered, "No, you destroyed yourself." The doors closed behind him, and just like that, he was gone. Weeks later, Bianca sat in her parents' living room, staring out the window. She was free. Her mother placed a bowl of food in front of her. "Eat, my child. You need your strength." Bianca smiled. "Thank you, Mama." Her father, who had been silent for days, finally spoke. "You're my daughter," he said. "You made a mistake, but you've learned your lesson. Now focus on your future." Bianca nodded. "I will, Papa. I'll never disappoint you again." Her parents smiled, and for the first time in a long time, Bianca felt peace. She was given a second chance, and this time, she wouldn't waste it. Dear viewers, what lessons did you take away from this dramatic tale? We'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this story from Innocent Stories, give us a thumbs up, share it with friends, and hit that subscribe button. Don't forget to turn on notifications so you never miss out on our latest updates. Thanks for watching, and stay blessed.